Sadiq Khan kills kids for his own socialist reasons. This is a video about why there has been an increase in knife crime since he took office of 38% in London. Hello everyone, this is Andre Walker. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please do subscribe to the channel, but also hit the bell notification icon. It's the only way to guarantee you get all of my videos as soon as they are released. Well, let's take a little bit of a step back. Sadiq Khan, I've always said, is someone who's very different to other politicians. Most politicians I've ever met are people who are genuinely committed to bringing people together, genuinely committed to their cause, and sometimes overly committed to stupid causes which are not actually going to benefit the country. You can always forgive people like that. Sadiq Khan's a little bit different. Sadiq Khan's motivation in politics is division and hatred. And I think that it's important to call out the difference between somebody who does what they do in order to bring people together but is wrong, and somebody who does what they do in order to split people apart. Also, on this channel, I've accused Sadiq Khan of being guilty of racism. But actually, I don't believe that Sadiq Khan is a racist. I believe that he's even worse than that. How can there be anything worse than a racist? Well, I'll tell you what it is. Look, I want to talk in this video about the 38% increase in knife crime in London under Sadiq Khan, something that he blamed on Boris Johnson, which is a remarkable claim given that Boris Johnson was the mayor before him. And so he took over that legacy of Boris Johnson reducing knife crime and he increased it. I think that the problem here is very simple. If you are a person who wants to drag people apart in the way that Sadiq does, if you are a person that wants to generate hatred and division like Sadiq does, you need to have a victim. And I think the victims are young black men. In this video, I want to persuade you of why we need to end the racism against young black men in London. And it's this. At the fall of the Soviet Union in 1989 and 1990, depending on what year you think it is, we looked at all of these regimes in Eastern Europe. Look at Ceausescu's orphanages in Romania. Look at the greyness of Moscow. Look at the abuse that had taken place in Prague during the Prague Springs. And look at the absolute flattening of Chechnya on multiple occasions. We saw that and we recognised that socialist economics fail. Socialist freedom, to the extent it even exists, is ridiculous. Socialist democracy involves only voting for the Communist Party and getting nothing else. And so when I remember that Christmas when the Soviet Union collapsed, I remember looking at this and thinking how sad I was for the people of Eastern Europe. Nobody in the world could justify at that moment a socialist government anywhere. And yet, the people that loved that level of state control did not cease to exist. They didn't go away, they didn't die. What they did was they held back and they changed their approach. In the old days of Karl Marx, we talked about class division. Karl Marx himself sat at the University of Manchester, said that he could never understand why British people would never turn on each other. And so the class war was over. The justification of socialism was over, but there was still a need by certain people to explain a way of discrediting the capitalist, democratic and free system. And they found race. And they found a group of victims in young black men. Now, I'm not going to deny that there was slavery. I'm not going to deny that when I look at the United States of America, I feel sad about the way that black people have been denigrated. But let's look at the United Kingdom. When I grew up in the 1980s, we weren't a racially divided country, and yet now we are. And what has happened? Yeah, we can talk about uncontrolled immigration, but let's also talk about what's going on in the inner cities, where black young people are told they have no opportunity, where they're told that their country is racist, where they're told that they cannot achieve anything at all, where they're told that their only option is to commit knife crime. And when our leaders who've told them that do not instruct the police to protect them. And what is the result? Very simple, that we are rubbing out young black men in unprecedented numbers and doing nothing about it. And I will tell you the reason, as far as I'm concerned. It is that we want, and when I say we, sorry, I should say, we as the government of London, we as the government of the United Kingdom, not you and me as individual people, but we as a government need to prove that there is racism in this country in order to enact socialism. And if we tell black young men that they have an opportunity in life, we're never going to get socialism. If we send the police in to stop and search and prevent knife crime, okay, we save young black men. But what we don't do is we don't have the opportunity to tell the world that Britain is a dangerous and evil place. You will never denigrate the United Kingdom and turn it into a socialist country unless you create a war. Karl Marx said that. But the war now is racial. Bring in people in unprecedented numbers and then tell young ethnic minority people they don't have a chance. Do you know what annoys me more than anything else? I've spent years debating on TV with people saying, we need immigration to do all the jobs that we don't want to do. No, we don't. Right? If the job's crap, if it doesn't pay enough money, if the terms and conditions are terrible, if there's a 0-hour contract, if you can't live on the money that's being paid, we don't want anyone to do that job at all. We want to lift the wages. We want to lift the terms and conditions. We don't want to bring somebody in to do jobs we don't want to do. We want to eliminate those jobs. And then when we bring those, oh, by the way, I remember saying on Sky once that I don't need an Estonian to clean my toilet. I can do it myself. Look, my point is this, that when we bring these people in to do the jobs we don't want to do, which undercuts British wages, we then complain later and say, I can't believe that immigrant communities are poorer than the indigenous population. You've literally brought them here to be poorer. You've literally brought them here to shovel crap. You've literally brought them here to bleach toilets. You've literally brought them here to work in a nightclub toilet. Hurry up, take a lollipop for £1. You've literally done that. But I remember I met a guy called Mizzy who had been a social media guy on TikTok, and everybody interviewed him, and I was famous for throwing him out of my studio. And I'll tell you what happened to me. I watched this guy and I thought to myself, do you know something? If you were my bloody nephew, you'd have gone to Oxford University. This was highly gifted, highly intelligent, highly capable guy, one of the most gifted people who'd ever been in my studio. And he was making no money off TikTok, jumping all over the place and making an idiot of himself. And you know, I gave him a serious interview, a respectful interview, and then he was disrespectful to one of my guests. Doesn't bother me, but I threw him out. Do you know, in that moment, we locked eyes. And I realised that he realised something, that these people are being played. Sadiq Khan and his chums need a large number of victims in order to prove that our system is a failure, and young black men are the people that take it. This channel can be accused of whatever it's accused of, but I will tell you, we complain about the police cracking down on us. We complain about our lack of free speech. We complain about concerns about our children being told to be trans. We're concerned about education. We have got it easier than them, because at least we're being bullied. They're being thrown into the toilet. And so I say it's time for us as a community to stand up for young black men. It's time for us to say the left is killing them for a political reason, and we won't tolerate it. And we need to say to them that they are patriots, that they're welcome, and that we will defend them. Something to think about. Till next time, goodbye.